I spend a lot of time observing people when I'm out and about, whether I'm shopping or engaging in some recreational activity or just out doing whatever, or even at my job. I spend a lot of time observing people. And what I've observed, especially more and more lately, is that people are spending too much time, how would I say this? They are using the acquisition of material possessions to fill a void inside. See, what's going on here is people are unhappy, largely. People are very unhappy on a large scale here. And the reason for this is because they believe that they're going to fill this void inside of them of unhappiness by getting more things, getting more material possessions, and engaging in a lot of consumerism, shopping, that sort of thing. And they're taking comfort in what I like to call quick pleasures. Now, those of you who have read my essays in the past are aware of my concept of quick pleasures. And they are taking comfort in these things, but it's false comfort because it's short-lived. How long does a possession satisfy before you get tired of it and you need another possession? And you keep filling this void with more and more stuff to avoid the fact that you're just generally unhappy. People are just generally unhappy. They just think that they're happy because they have all this wonderful stuff. But really, that's just filler. It's like a drug, like any other drug. And it's mainly because those are the things that are not going to make them happy. There is only one thing that can make a person generally content with their life, and it is for fulfilling purpose through contribution. Now, let me repeat that. What people desire is fulfilling purpose through contribution. That is, they need something in their lives that makes them feel fulfilled, that gives them a sense of purpose, that is contributing to the world around them. And having some contributing to the world around you, in the end, at least I have deemed, is the only way you can truly feel like you are fulfilled. You have to have something you're giving to others. Whatever you're doing, it cannot be for yourself alone. It will not fill the void of unhappiness. Now, a lot of people have asked me the question, how do I find such a purpose? This empty feeling. Those people that realize that they have this empty feeling are always wondering, or have asked, well, how do I feel that? How do I find something that gives me a sense of purpose? And I do not have a cut and dry answer for that. But I can tell you is that there's plenty of room out there to find a fulfilling purpose for you. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Every weekday I take my daughter out to her bus stop so she can get on her bus. I get on the school bus, that is. Every weekday. And must have been a couple weeks back, we took a note, both me and my daughter, that at her bus stop, over on the grass there, or by the pavement in the grass, we couldn't help but notice constantly there's always a lot of cigarette butts and just garbage, plastic bottle tops and milk crates, paper, and all kinds of garbage, a lot of litter over by her bus stop. And we live in the suburbs area, generally by most standards considered clean, but yet there is all this garbage there. So my daughter and I decided that what we would do is, so we don't have such a ugly looking bus stop area, that the next chance we get, we would clean our bus stop. So that's exactly what we did. We took a couple hours one day, not too long after that bus stop day. That time at the bus stop, and we went over to her bus stop and cleaned out all that litter, got rid of the bottle tops, got rid of the cigarette butts, got rid of everything, and made it clean, nice and clean. And it was wonderful. We felt good about it. And then for the week after that, it was nice and clean. It was a pleasure to go to the bus stop and to wait for her to get on her bus. But it didn't take long. Like 2 weeks after that, her bus stop was littered up again. I saw a whole bunch of cigarette butts. It didn't happen overnight. This happened slowly over the 2-week period, but it got to the point where it didn't look much different than it looked before we cleaned up the bus stop area. And that's when that's when a revelation came over me. It's like, the first thing I thought was, how can people say that there is, I can't find anything to find fulfilling purpose. When I see in the world, and that bus stop situation is a great example, when I see plenty of areas people can devote themselves to that might give them a sense of fulfillment. Just on that bus stop incident alone, I can think of 3. First one being devote yourself to health, to non-smoking. Devote yourself to doing something about the smoking epidemic that is going on. 2, littering. Devote yourself to littering in your community and different ways we can prevent littering. Devote yourself to a cause to clean up your community. And 3, just getting awareness out of all this in the first place. You can devote yourself to all of this. You can devote yourself to plastics, bottle tops that we noticed at the bus stop. They can devote themselves to reducing plastic use. There are plenty of noble purposes out there that people can devote themselves to in their community, or by and large all of humanity. So there's plenty out there. Just off the top of my head, I can think of plenty of community organizations people can get involved in to give them a better sense of purpose, which would ultimately lead to happiness. United Way. Every community has a United Way. Chamber of Commerce. Most communities have a Chamber of Commerce. If you're thinking more global, there's the Peace Corps. There's AmeriCorps, if you're just thinking, staying within the States. There are just so many causes out there people can devote themselves to. So many reasons. There are so many humanitarian purposes out there that people can devote themselves to that will give them some sort of sense of fulfillment, some sort of sense of contribution, and ultimately lead them to happiness.
That concludes this video. If you like what you've seen here, please subscribe to this channel. Also be sure to get my book, Living Better Small, A Better Life Through Minimalism, available on paperback as well as both Kindle and Nook at Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com.